So triple changes are a cool concept. Having a robot that turns into two vehicles, that's something that a lot of us fans would quite like. And on occasions, they've made good ones and some not so good ones. But when they tried to make the Transformers Legacy Blitzwing, it didn't quite turn out how I think they wanted to go. But I think this figure gets a bit too much hate, as it's not actually that bad of a figure. Starting out in jet form, this is definitely the worst part of this figure, because it's got this huge amount of kibble underneath it, causing the plane to look a little bloated. Like, I get why it's there, triple changes need their parts to triple change, but this is, the way they went around it did not work. Now, the way they should have tackled this is the same way they did the Titans Return Blitzwing. Now, I've only somewhat handled that figure, so I can't speak in depth in that, but the way that one was done actually looked a lot better than this. But I suppose that one did take the head out of the transformation, so I'll give this a point for not being a parts former. The thing is, with this figure, I think they were trying to do what they did with the G1 figure, and that's the fact that you're not meant to look at the beige parts. When you're in jet form, you're only meant to be able to see the purple parts and not the beige. In practice, it doesn't work out that well, but in theory, it would make a lot of sense. Now, despite the massive flaw this figure might have, you're still able to get some amazing pictures with it, so I just had to take some. Transformation to tank mode is a little annoying, personally. Now, it's easier to go from jet to tank than it is from jet to robot or robot to jet. But the way it transforms from jet to tank is really clunky. It's got a lot of the, a squish factor to it, where you gotta more or less just squish things in place to get them together. One of the annoying parts is when the legs are collapsed, or the wing parts, the wings don't actually peg in properly, which I have no clue why. I think that's just my copy's issue, but I haven't worked out why it's doing it. I think there might be a bit too much plastic in one part of it, which might be the issue. But otherwise, transformation is a easy fare. Here we are in tank mode, and this is definitely the better of the two vehicle modes that Blitzwing has. Like, it still has its issues, like the massive cockpit hanging out the front, but otherwise, it's quite good. Now, this isn't the exact tank that Blitzwing is either, as I don't know the exact name of the tanks. I'm not a tank or a jet person, or even a car person. I'm a robot person. But this is not the tank, and it's not even as cartoon accurate as Hasbro would want you to think. As the actual cartoon had a big slab overhanging the cockpit, so it didn't stick out as far as this one does. And that's something that's always going to annoy me about this tank, but I can look past it in this one case. Like, sure, Blitzwing has a bit of kibble, it's fine, I can look past it, it's fine. If I really want to fix it, I would just get a upgrade piece to cover it, which does exist. But otherwise, it's a very nice tank. I love the greeblings over it. Like, up on the top of the turret, there's little hatch and stuff. All the greeblings running down the side. I really like how it turned out. And hey, I get to do another posability in the alt form. As this is a tank, it has posability, its turret can move up and down, and it can swivel around, which I quite like how they actually got that working. Hey, this tank form looks amazing on Blitzwing, which is why I had to take some pictures of it, so here they are. transformation on Blitzwing to get him to robot form from tank is quite easy. Personally, I love going from tank to robot, as going from jet to robot's really annoying. And my favorite part is how the head system works, as it actually folds around and the cockpit folds in and everything. I quite like how that works. The worst part, again, is these legs. The back wings folding in don't want to sit in place. Still haven't worked out what it is. It's really annoying, but it's something that I'm just gonna have to deal with. I don't want to have to go in and ruin a figure just to try and fix something, because I've done that before and it did not end out well. But it's something I can look past, it's fine. And I like how the arms hinge up and down. I didn't cover that in the jet to tank, which I was meant to, but I forgot. But I'll cover it now. The actual arms moving up into place is quite nice, and I quite like it. Here we are in robot mode, and this is definitely the best mode of this figure. Now, it's not as perfect as I'd like it to be, mostly because the turret doesn't sit in place if you have it extended, but if you have it retracted, it does, but then it looks weird. I like the turret being extended, so that's how I keep mine. But this just looks as much like Blitzwing as it possibly could. I just love it. It has his utilitarian design. I just love how it turned out. I'm surprised that they didn't give us the clone body thing of him that they did back in G1, where there was thousands of Blitzwings. Because I reckon they could easily army build Blitzwing into a army of the Quintesson drone stuff. It's been a while since I've watched Season 3 of G1, I don't quite exactly remember what I'm talking about. But I just love how he looks. I love all the little greeblings they've given him. Like, sure, this isn't the best shade of purple that they could have chose, as this is more Shockwave's color than it is Blitzwing's, but it just works so well on him, and mixing it with his grey, I love how it works, and the beige actually looks quite good in this mode. Like, there's no other ways for me to say it without praising it even more. I just love how he looks here. Now, the couple issues I do have with this figure is the legs. Them not plugging in is really annoying. I don't know why mine doesn't plug in, but every time I try and plug it all the way, it gets stress marks, which is weird. And also, my copy is really loose in the hip joints, which is really annoying. I'm gonna have to go in there and tighten them up at some point, but they're not that tight. And that's a thing I've noticed with a lot of modern figures, that a lot of their joints aren't as tight as what they should be. Posability on Blitzwing is quite nice. He's got a ball joint at the head allowing for swivel and up and down action, which he actually has an extra rocker in there for even more up action, which I quite like. His arms go up about 90 and out about a 90, but if you unpeg them from the shoulder itself, they can go up even more, which I quite like. His bicep swivel, 90 at the elbow, wrist swivels and bends in. There's waist swivel, legs are unimpeded going forward and out to the side, but it can't go back because of the way the back is sculpted, which I don't like, but I can give it a pass here as this figure's already doing so much. It's got thigh swivel, a deep knee bend, and foot pivots with toe down, which is quite nice. Posability isn't the only thing Blitzwing has, as he comes with a myriad of weapons. Starting off, he gets 2 identical versions of his gun, which I quite like. They're quite nice. It's cool that we get 2, so if you lose one, you have another. They look a little off to me, but that's probably because he didn't really use his gun that much from what I saw. To be fair, he wasn't in much episodes, but I quite like him. He also comes with his sword. Now, his sword always confused me as it never fit in with its design, but I can't put it past him. The sword looks cool, and it would have been weird if they gave us blitzwing without the sword, as it's part of his character, and it's so nice. Now, his final accessories are weird. It comes with these big energon hands. This was meant to be part of their energon weapon gimmick that they were doing for a bit, and then stopped doing. I don't know why we got these. Personally, I think they should have taken these hands and put more into his transformation budget to get it looking better. But I guess it's fun to have. I don't use them, but it's something if you really want them. Blitzwing looks so good in his robot mode that you can get some amazing pictures that I just had to take some. This has been the review for the Transformers Legacy Blitzwing. Tell me, what do you think about this figure? Does he get too much hate, or is the hate worth it? Personally, I think he's too harshly criticized. Like, sure, always criticize things. That's how you get better things in the future, but I think this one has been put down way more harsh than it should have. And I quite enjoy how he is, but tell me what you think about him. Thanks for watching.